Hello and welcome to Destiny Digits. This is the expression number 2 reading. Sorry, I'm recording in an outdoor space. So first card we're going to talk about is the card that came out in my handmade deck. And this is an African proverb. It says, "He who does not sweat in his youth will extend his hand when old." And so this is that feeling, that energy, that knowing of striking while the iron's hot. And so if we're talking about a human lifespan, when are we hottest, right? If we're that iron, when are we hottest? When are we quicker, faster? When do we have more energy to burn? We're always going to make mistakes. We're always going to have failures. But when you're in your purpose, there is no failure. But we need to fail many, many times to show us what our purpose is. And what time in the human life is that best? If you had to pick between years, where is that sweet spot? And so this is saying that when you sweat in your youth, when you grind, when you work, when you give your most, when you put it in, whether you get it wrong or not, it doesn't matter if you ever got to any outcome, but when you were willing, right? It makes an impact for later in life. Because you've already put in so much that now the return comes, right? And so you won't have to ask. You won't have to extend your hand. You won't have to be in the energy of a beggar. You'll be more of a chooser. But you have choices only because you created them by working hard, by putting out a certain type of energy. So that's the overall message. Now let's talk about the cards that came up. First one, it says, "You are the truth seeker, awakening, actualizing, transcending. How can you invite more grace to guide you?" And so the image on the card shows a person going through the levels of submission, just falling in to whatever is about to be revealed to them in this life, and knowing that we're never going to know it all, right? This is a constant state of discovery and learning. It just won't end. And so you can go a lot further if that is the premise of how you absorb life, right? Beneath that, we have the Queen of Wands and the Nine of Cups. So being a queen or a king and sitting on a throne speaks of power, right? This speaks of mastery, to the point that you can rule in this energy. So when we're talking about the wand, we're talking about fire, we're talking about passion, charisma, an energy that is really pushed because it's aligned with the soul. It's about purpose. It's about drive. This is a savviness that you possess in any arena. This is just something that is true for you. The Nine of Cups talks about, first 9, this is a number of giving. It's a number of sacrifice, but it's about having a lot. Your cups being full, you being abundant. This is about being content, Next would be the 10 of Cups, where we add the family, but this is being all of what you need to build that family, right? You possessing all the intentional pieces. And so listen, when you're talking about grace and succumbing to life and just being mindful of how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, giving yourself grace, giving others grace, allowing us to just be so imperfect. But that's actually perfect because that's the design, right? That is the divine design. And so it's when you operate from your throne and in your power where you find the most fulfillment. And what do you need to do to get there? Right? How can you invite more of that into your life? Next, we have trust your faith, dive into the unfolding journey. So again, trust, right? So what do you know? What can you count on? What are you putting your faith in? How can you trust that, whether you see it or not see it? What is faith requiring you to do? So sometimes the way in which we trust is not comfortable at all. And so that's why faith comes in. Beneath this, you have the Two of Cups. This talks about union, commitment, partnerships. So is there a significant relationship or union that Spirit is asking you to fall all into and to just trust, to have faith that this is, the angel is above the two of them. So this was sent by God. This is a card for soulmate. It can be twin flame. It depends on how you interpret this card, but this talks about two energies that are not identical. They're not identical in how they present to one another, maybe not in age or culture, but something about their energy is a divine match. And so what is your faith asking you to do about how you're perceiving a significant relationship? Now, 2s, you guys are a number of, you're the great partner, you're the companion, right? Very gentle when you're in relationships with others. You really like peace, you're very diplomatic, and you don't mind being malleable, right? Because you want to accommodate the other energies, because that's a part of your growth. So next we have deep inward journey. You'll be rewarded for the work. How can you alchemize your fear, right? So this is saying you can only go as far as you're willing to go before you allow your fear to take over. So 3 of Pentacles is talking about expressing yourself creatively for gains. And if you have to work with people, or if people are observing your work, this is about putting yourself out there, right? But if you're afraid to go so far, then you can only go as far as you grow. Right? And so you have to go in first so that you can then go out. But whatever is stopping you inside, that's called fear. That's being afraid of the unknown. But this is where we get the whole do it afraid thing, right? And so how can you use that fear to propel you forward? How can you overcome it? Right? And it's not really about getting rid of it. Fear is healthy, right? It gives us a boundary, a clear understanding of where we're most comfortable, right? But sometimes growth is not comfortable. Just taking the risk, it's going to bring you the reward. But you have to figure out what's stopping you from doing it anyway, right? What's stopping you from getting there? So there's a significant relationship that's saying, listen, if this came about on the journey, trust the journey, have faith. And there's a level of you that you need to fall into, right? Queen of Wands is also about being an entrepreneur, you know, and being a leader in your energy to the point that it can give you gains, it can give you strength, assets, like it can, you know what I mean? So yeah. All right, Expression 2s, I'm hoping this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.